Good evening. Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm about to give a really...
The government, states, they start putting these RICO acts on Diddy, all of these guys, and try to put it on these ongoing criminal organizations. I ain't never seen the government put a RICO act on the KKK.
If we sit there and be old school, we gonna miss the boat. You know, a lot of this kids 19 years old buying houses with Bitcoin, buying Maserati.
Wow.
All those fascists. We want to have a conversation. Charlie Kirk will have a conversation.
There were times where Joe Biden greatly disappointed me, and frankly, angered me. Like on the day of my debate with Trump, the stakes were so high, and the president calls, and he said to me, it just was so unnecessary.
And you took something from that?
That his motivation was all about himself.
Do you think he wanted you to win the election? Madam Vice President, there's nothing you said I couldn't ask you.
Because I have a lot to say, and so, fuck it.
Okay, so do you wish you hadn't ran?
No, but I do regret that we did not have more time.
And then the debate that came before with Biden and Trump, it was a car crash. I mean, this was clearly an individual that was very much struggling.
He didn't want that debate. I could tell something was a little off.
How'd you know?
Well, I could start with this.
And what about not going on Joe Rogan's show?
I definitely regret that we didn't do it, but there was a lot of games being played.
And then on that night when the election hasn't gone your way, what would I have seen if I was a fly on the wall in the room?
I was in a state of shock. Like, I haven't felt anything similar to the emotion I felt that day, other than the grief I felt when my mother died. And I knew what was going to happen to our country. So I had a hard time reconciling that we can't still do something about it, because I grew up in an environment where everyone was fighting for justice and for equality. So I do think about how different it could have been, but sometimes the fight takes a while.
Does that mean that you're going to run again?
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're gonna keep it going with y'all.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Mia.
I'm Enzo. I'm Kamal. Benny Ray.
Blake Ashby.
And tonight at the new party, we have some very special guests. We have Blake Ashby and we have Benny Ray in the building. Thank you guys so much for coming. Let's start with Benny Ray. Benny, where can the people find you at? We're excited to have you.
Appreciate y'all for bringing me on. You can find me at I've Been Airing It on TikTok. Also, I have a backup page by Benny_Ray3. And also on Instagram at I've Been Airing It.
Awesome. And we also have Blake. Blake, we're excited to have you. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, excited to be here. My website is blakeashby.org. TikTok is Blake Ashby. Twitter is Blake Ashby1. Then I'm not sure exactly what the Facebook is, but somewhere on Facebook there's a Blake Ashby.
Okay, so it's going to be a fun night, guys. We got a jam-packed night. Where's the thriller music, Kamal? Where's the thriller music?
Oh, hold on. Yeah. Yeah. Happy Halloween.
Night, man. I mean, we're going back in time. We're going to step into a time machine. We're going to have some thrills and some scares. Kamala Harris said she's running again. I don't know how you guys feel, but to me, that's a little scary. I mean, Kimberly said the best. I'm sorry. The Democrats keep losing, guys. I don't know why they keep putting this woman out here for this. I kind of feel bad for Kamala at this point. As y'all can see, they had her doing this interview. Let's play this clip. Let's see what she had to say about Joe Biden and get some reactions.
Is fully competent to serve.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
That surprises me, actually.
No, I do. There's a distinction to be made between running for president and being president.
What's the distinction?
Well, being a candidate for president of the United States is about being in a marathon at a sprinter's pace, having tomatoes thrown at you every step you take.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's more than a notion.
Get involved in public service, ladies and gentlemen.
And to be the seated president, the sitting president, while doing that, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. I think it's a hard case to make for people that he didn't have the stamina to run, but he had the stamina to govern. Because I think most people view the presidency as a marathon run at a sprint with tomatoes being thrown at you in terms of governance.
So we'll let a guest go first. Blake, what do you think about her run? Do you think she should run again, or do you think she was prepared? What's your thoughts?
I hope she doesn't run again. I liked her quite a bit as a candidate, came out for her early, actually before Biden even resigned. But at the end of the day, she came across more as a technocrat than a politician. And I'm not sure that she is the person to really lead the Democratic Party. You know, the Democratic Party has a message issue. We have lost track of what our foundation is. And I don't know if she's got the oratorical chops to actually bring that back. Everybody talks about Obama. He actually was just a heck of an orator. And the Democratic Party needs somebody like that. Not Obama necessarily, but somebody that can actually present the message and remind voters all the good the Democratic Party has done.
Some people said she lost because she was a woman. Betty, what do you think? Do you think that she lost because she's a woman?
I mean, I think that I'm not going to say a little part. I think it was a pretty significant part in her losing. I mean, the time period in which they promoted her, you know, as a candidate to run. I mean, I think that would have been hard for anybody, woman or man. But yeah, I think it had a part to play. I'm not going to say it didn't.
Yeah, and I'm going to play this next clip and get some reactions. This is Kamala Harris. She said she was shocked she lost.
Really? Mm. Did you think the day before that you were going to win the election?
I did.
Yeah. And so when did the proverbial penny drop?
When I got a call from my campaign manager that it looks like we need 200,000 more votes that we can't find. Meaning it's just the map, the numbers. And the thing I kept saying over and over again, I was in a state of shock. I was so inarticulate, but maybe very articulate. What I kept saying over and over again is, my God, my God, my God.
Really?
Over and over. I couldn't stop. I haven't felt that emotion, anything similar to the emotion I felt that day and for quite some time, other than the grief I felt when my mother died.
Guys, I know we are accepting super chats if you want your chat on the screen. Mia, why was she so shocked she lost? And what's up with this 200,000 votes thing? What do you think?
I think she was shocked she lost because, I mean, they spent $1 billion trying to get her elected. For like $1 billion in like 104 days trying to get her elected. So I'm shocked I'm sure she's shocked that she lost. I mean, $1 billion is a lot of money. She thought because she had some half-naked singers on a platform shaking their ass in front of children and a few thousand people that somehow Black people were going to clamor. We were going to clamor because we saw some thoughts on the screen. I don't know. I mean, she clearly misjudged it. And, you know, that for me is like classic of the Democrats. They clearly keep misjudging. I mean, if they need to put a centrist candidate, a middleman, a moderate, just slightly to the left, to get all of those centrist moderates that are in the middle that moved to the right, because there was a lot of social issues they did not agree with the Democrats at times being so far left.
Man, I gotta get a Democrat in here. Gray.
I'm a Democrat.
Huh?
I'm a Democrat.
Oh, I know, but Gray's you
go ahead.
already, darling. Gray, what's your thoughts on all of this? What do you think? Why do you think she kept talking about these 200,000 votes?
She kind of sounded like Trump when he was calling Georgia, saying that she was looking for more votes. But once you're looking at that electoral map, I mean, you know, we did it live. You start to see how things start to look, and then it's bleak, and you can't possibly win. So I think that she was looking at the math. I'm not going to necessarily say that it was a Democratic Party. I mean, Joe Biden dropped out right before. She only had, 170, 190 days, whatever the number was, for her to create some type of campaign. So for her to be put in the position she was put in to try to win presidency was almost impossible.
Yeah, let me tell you guys, that night Gray went running. I never seen you run out somewhere so fast. Like all the Democrats, y'all thought it was going to be a blowout that night. But anyways, we're going to play the next clip. We'll get some more people in here. This is her talking about she's upset. She's upset about the Trump ballroom. Let's see what she has to say.
Kidding me. This guy wants to create a ballroom for his rich friends while completely turning a blind eye to the fact that babies are going to starve when the SNAP benefits end in just hours from now. Come on. So I'm not going to be distracted by, does the guy have a big fucking hammer? What about those babies?
Right.
Woo, she big mad. And so what you think about her in this ballroom? Do you agree?
How much did she have to drink before she did that interview?
Hey, don't hate
That's
on
the
the
real
boss
question.
woman.
I'm sorry. Put down the wine, Kamala. What do I think about the ballroom? I think it's perfectly fine for Donald Trump to use his money to pay for a ballroom instead of the American taxpayers. The same way that I think it was I think when I looked at the list, out of 47 presidents, or 45 really, because Trump twice, 13 of them added additions to the White House, and they were paid for by the American people. So I have no problem with Donald Trump doing that. And if you're so worried about benefits going away, Democrats, speak to your leaders, speak to Chuck Schumer, speak to people in the Senate, because we only need 5 votes now. We need 5. We need 5 moderate Democrats to come to the table who are willing to speak so we can pass the CR in the Senate.
Kamal, what do you think about the ballroom? Do you think she should be allowed to spend that Trump should be allowed to spend that much money? I mean, it's how much, what is the amount? I think it's like hundreds of million at this point. What do you think?
It was like 280, 230, 280, something like that.
He trying to spend a ballroom. Is he going to dance in that motherfucker, or he just going to be looking at it? Ain't that the point of a ballroom, to be dancing and stuff?
Well, it's probably not even going to be done before he's out of office. Those things take 2.5 or 3 years to build, at least.
Damn.
Yeah, and they destroyed the East Wing to build it. So Blake is right. It might not even be done.
So it's just some more WWE shit for sure. Yeah, at this point, man, if Donald Trump wanna build that shit, you feel me? He finding loopholes and through all these constitutions, ain't he? God damn, his first term, he just, you know what, I'm gonna study all this shit, make all these mistakes, and look at all the loopholes of the Constitution. So in the second term, I'm about to run shit. He building ballrooms, he building golden tank. Is this nigga part of No Limit? God damn. Yeah. Hey, who
There's a golden tank?
Rappers. God damn.
But part of it though is that he's broken a bunch of laws, but only the House has standing to actually sue him for violating the Constitution. And since the House is Republican controlled, they're not suing. If we take back the House in the midterms, you'll see a bunch of lawsuits, and Trump will be, he'll have to go back to living to the Constitution like other presidents. That's the other half of it, is the Republican Congress has kind of ceded its authority to him.
Blake, I hate to break it to you. He's just going to take another mug shot, hang with some rappers, and be like, all right, we good, on to the next. Hey, this is my thing, though. Did y'all want me to talk about Kamala, or y'all want me to still talk about this ballroom and shit where he might get?
No, you can say your opinion on Kamala. Because
I mean, with Kamala, she probably would have won if she ran as an Indian woman like she been doing, instead of cosplaying like a black woman. I guess me and her the same. We both magicians in this motherfucker. You feel me? That's what I'm dressed as for Halloween. Happy Halloween, y'all. You know what I mean? That hurt. I think that hurt her more than anything. You feel me? All this cosplaying, all I got hot sauce in my bag, Hillary Clinton bullshit. Man, get the F out of here. That's disrespectful to us black Americans thinking we stupid and that ass is gonna make us vote. You got Megan Thee Stallion throwing ass in a circle and we supposed to vote? Hell no, you supposed to be talking about policies that's supposed to be helping us. That shit is horse shit. You feel me? That's why she lost all that cosplaying bullshit. She should have ran as an Indian woman. I'm telling you, she probably would have won.
Well, and you talked about two things there, right? You talked about how she presented, but then also the lack of policy ideas out of the campaign. And, you know, that's what was really disappointing to me.
Yeah, they weren't talking about no policy, though. Just saying.
Well, this is what she said she lost because of Joe Biden. This is what she had to say about Joe Biden.
Hotel room.
I mean, maybe
with Doug,
at the
with my
time
husband.
people felt negatively about it.
And the president calls. And I was told that he wanted to call me so that I'd be ready. And I was so sure it was to buck me up and go get him. And he did say that for the first beat. And then he went on to talk about a group of people in Pennsylvania who were saying bad things about me because they heard I was saying bad things about him. And when I hung up the phone, it was unbelievable. And I was angry and deeply disappointed. It was so unnecessary. There are only two people in the world other than me that has debated this guy, Hillary Clinton and him. And you know what it's like. It's going into a debate with the stakes being that high and Trump hadn't agreed to another debate. The stakes were so high. So that's an example of what I mean.
You took something from that. You took an underlying message about one's intentions from that, because I would. If someone called me in the lead up to debate prep and said something like that to me, I would assume that they don't want the best for me.
My takeaway is his motivation was all about himself.
That's what I would assume from that.
Yeah.
I would assume that.
Yeah, right. Obviously, right. Yeah.
Damn, wait a minute. Is she writing a tell-all book like Joy Reid?
She already wrote it, yeah. Skeptic. What's your thoughts? Why did Kamala lose? Was it Joe Biden waiting too long to step out, or do you think she would have lost regardless?
So I think a couple of things. I think that so I do want to say, if you understand politics and you've ever even kind of like seen the background of politics, it's very messy. I don't think she's lying about anything that she's saying. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, politicians are very much nice in your face and will do something different behind your back. So everything that was done or that gets done in politics is kind of premeditated. So I could definitely see the things that she's talking about being done in a way to kind of set her up or make it more difficult. He waited a long time to even say he was going to pull out. So that in itself, to me, just kind of gives me a bad feeling. But I will say she's a very successful woman. She was Attorney General for California. While she was Attorney General, she passed laws to help with the pricing of houses and the crisis that was going on in California. So she helped millions of people. She worked hard for her positions. She was not given anything. And I think that there is still a sort of mentality towards Black and brown women. There's a view that they get criticized in a different aspect, even questioning their culture or their heritage is, like, to me, a really crazy thing. But we don't do the same thing to Hillary Clinton. We don't do the same thing to other, white women. So that, to me, but the aspect looking out at the whole thing when it was happening, I thought that was really disgusting. And also to hear Trump even say anything, who's Trump to say anything about her heritage or what she is or isn't? Like, that was a wild thing to me. I think that if anything, for the future of the Democratic Party, I'm a big, I admire Kamala. I don't think that for the future, I don't think that mannerism or the personality is going to be the future. I think Gavin Newsom has more of the fight in him. We are going up against people that are using propaganda. We're going against people that are causing 22 states to go into a recession or be in the brink of a recession. So I think that the Republican Party is going to cause its own demise. We just have to allow them for their policies that are very much not logical and don't make any sense to fall apart and cause their own issues in the economy. We're already starting to see it. And to say that Kamala Harris didn't have good policies behind her, this man, when he was being interviewed, when he was running, he said he had concepts of a plan. His foreign policy, as of when he first got, put in January, was peace through strength. That was how he was going to not start new wars. And surprisingly, peace through strength didn't work. It hasn't worked. So, she actually had policies written down because she's been in politics all of her life. She doesn't have biological children because she gave her life to be in government. She wanted to get rid of the filibuster for women to be able to have a say-so over their bodies. She wanted to expand the tax credits for children up to $6,000. She wanted to give, first-time homeowners, I don't know if it was $25,000 or $50,000 tax credit for first-time homeowners. So she had very good policies. I don't know very many Trump supporters that knew any of his policies. It was the rhetoric that he was spitting out that people got behind. And I don't know that she is spitting out enough rhetoric in the way that America needs it right now.
Okay. Kim, what's your thoughts? You're a Californian. Why did she lose? Tell me some things that Californians don't like about Kamala.
She's not charismatic. She's not likable. It's not because she's a woman or because she's half Indian, Asian, half Jamaican, Black. I think it's because she's just not likable. She sounds very coherent in that interview. I'm surprised. And I haven't actually watched it, and I'm deeply empathetic. It's really sad watching her express herself like that. Now, I don't believe her, obviously, but this is the most sympathetic I've seen her in a while. She did an interview with Mindy Kaling where they were cooking Indian food. That was the best she did during the whole campaign. But Michelle Obama would win. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. It's not because she's a woman, and it's not because she's a minority. It's because she doesn't have a policy that she stands for. She's flipped on absolutely everything. And I think we talked about this earlier in the chat. She was a cop. She was a bad cop. And I think it obviously didn't help her that Joe Biden, he shouldn't have run a second term. He said he wasn't going to run a second term, and he waited so long. I think he did it because out of spite, because a lot of the people wanted to get him out of there. But yeah, if the Democrats were smart, they would have ran my homie Gavin Newsom. He's a lot more charismatic, a lot more likable, a lot more eloquent. He's a good orator like Barack Obama. I don't agree with him or like him on policy either. I have a lot of criticisms there as well. But sometimes the Democrats make decisions that are just so illogical. It's like they like it. It's like they like to lose, because anybody could have told you could have just run a poll. Kamala had a dropout of her own state during the last primary. Her own state, she had to drop out because she was placing 5th place. I think they should have won. They should have run Gavin Newsom, and I think he might run in 2028. He's probably a better contender than she is.
Well, we're going to go on to the next topic. Candace Owens, guys, there's a poll in the chat. So if you guys can do the poll, please. Should Candace Owens drop it? Because many people are saying, Candace Owens, girl, you should drop it. But Candace Owens shows the best friend you can have is a Black girl. Let me play this clip, and we're going to get into this because Candace is not dropping it. She's not letting this go. Here she goes.
To just take a breather and really process everything that happened with Charlie and what it kind of means in terms of where we are. And I think it is a circumstance where we just know that he was truly betrayed in one of the most egregious ways that I think I've ever seen. It has made me lose faith in politics. It has made me fully lose faith in Trump. And my heart aches for the fact that he gave so much of his life to Trump and to politics. And they just were like, nope, that is it. It serves us or it doesn't serve us, and we want to move on. And so here's a holiday. Bro, if they try to give me a holiday, what is with them giving people a holiday after they kill them? Why is that a thing? You know what I mean? Like, oh, Martin Luther King, what about this holiday? What about this boulevard? Anyways, let me knock it off. Like, they're going to give Charlie Kirk a boulevard. They already did. They did in Israel. They gave him freaking boulevard. It's like, as soon as they give you a boulevard and a holiday, they definitely killed you. Okay, there's no question. They killed you. There's no way. That's like their signature thing. It's like that's what they do. It's the Fed signature. It's how they sign off after they murder you. They're like holiday and a boulevard. And it's never on a nice side of town either. Like Charlie Kirk Boulevard is not going to be a nice side of town. Anyways, I will be back on the 27th, you guys. Thank you guys for all the support throughout these couple of weeks, these last really kind of 6 weeks since Charlie died. And we will see you guys then.
Benny, what's your thoughts? Should she drop it?
No, why would she drop it? Because since he's passed, she's dropped, 21 videos. She's amassed with an extra maybe 2 million followers. And within those 21 videos she's dropped, she's had 200 million views. All the videos are at least an hour plus long. She making bank. Why would she quit?
Blake, should she drop it? What's your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, I agree with what he said. Conspiracy theories are paying her bills, and everybody's got to earn a living. And the way she earns a living is by riding the waves of conspiracy. And that's the challenge with conspiracy theories, right? They can help you get elected. They can help you get attention. But where do they go? They have to keep on going somewhere. They have to find a new enemy. So, yeah, I think she is wrong in what she's doing. I don't think she was assassinated by the government. But I think Benny is right. Or I think it was Benny. Whoever was that said that.
Yeah. I mean, let's be right. Why, if the it's big bad boogeyman government, why would they allow her if she really was quote unquote opposition to the system? Why would they allow her to be up there? If they would take out Charlie for whatever reason, why wouldn't they get Candace Owens out the paint?
Yeah, and they didn't take out Charlie, right? There was no conspiracy, no conspiracy, government conspiracy to kill Charlie Kirk. He was killed by a deranged person, like most people are assassinated by. But there's, layer upon layer of conspiracy theory that Trump has tapped into to win the election. RFK is a perfect example. Trump loved the wackiness when it was getting the votes. Now he's got to deal with RFK and measles and all sorts of just stupid stuff, right? How do you deal with a conspiracy theory when you've used one to get elected?
Well, she going hard in the paint with the conspiracy. Here she going hard at Don Jr. She better watch out.
From me to you. It's better to say nothing. Okay? It's better to say, I'm just not going to answer that question. The best way you could honor Charlie Kirk, if you can't fight for him for some reason, is to simply say nothing. Because I looked at this clip and it bothered me for a lot of reasons, Don, because I know who you are. I know who you are. You're a hunter. You love to hunt, Don, right? Every picture of you, you're in the wilderness. Your whole life, you love to be in the wild. In fact, you taught me a lot about the wild and a lot about hunting. And my favorite fishing experience is actually with you, right? Fighting back the sea lions or the seals in British Columbia. You know nature. And I'm not going to ask you to go back against the nature of honoring your father, but I am going to ask you not to lie. And as a hunter, you are not lying, and this is truly what you believe. You trust the investigation. I'm going to need you to make a video saying that you believe that Charlie was shot by a .30-06 in the neck, and that somehow, through the miracle of God, Charlie's neck stopped a .30-06. Not only stopped a .30-06, but was pretty much in good shape, not even destroyed. His neck was not even destroyed by a .30-06. That kind of a miracle, Don. You know hunting, you know guns, and so I'm asking you if this is truly what you believe, to clarify that matter. Make a video, sit down with me, look me in the eye and say, Candace, I really do think that Charlie, our friend, because you are his friend, you were his brother, stopped a .30-06 with his neck, which stayed intact. You won't say that, Don. You won't say that because it's untrue. And I think that spiritually it would mess with you. And the hunters that are listening know that you don't believe that. You know too much. Okay. So again, I'm going to ask you, if you cannot say anything, I understand the ties that bind. I understand Jared and Ivanka and their investments in Israel and the pressure that's coming from the Zionists, to simply be quiet. As his other brothers and sisters and people in the movement, people who don't even know Charlie, get to the bottom of this, because everything we're being sold is absolute BS.
So Mia, my tinfoil buddy, do you got the hat on? Oh, we about to get laughed at, especially by Blake. Blake and Betty made it clear. Blake believes the narrative we're being sold. It's a crazy, I guess, homosexual. I don't know what you label him as, that killed Charlie. Do you believe the narrative and the picture we saw that day? Because me and you did the live stream, and the moment we did the live stream, what did you say?
It's an inside job. It's an inside job. I mean, I too know ball when it comes to unaliving animals. I too hunt. I do fish. I do these things. And I'm going to be real honest. There's no way a soft tissue neck is going to stop a 30-06 bullet. It's going to go through and through, probably straight back to the building behind. So, I mean, if the feds had made that story a little bit more believable, who leaves a weapon in the woods, like fully put together? I mean, there's like so many pieces that absolutely don't make sense. I don't understand how these are supposed to be the greatest minds in this country, in the FBI and all of these places, and they come up with the stupidest stories. Like, we haven't been watching Date Night, like we have Dateline, excuse me, SVU, CSI. I mean, like, we haven't grown up watching every single one of these crime shows. And I mean, what? I wish they would have come up with a better lie.
I have to agree. It's weird. Like the dismantling of the gun, and if you hunt, I'm not even like an avid hunter. I hunt like whatever. Like, you would know that the story made no sense to me to begin with. Then when he's walking the surveillance, where was the gun at? Because he wasn't like, it's not making, how did he dismantle the gun in so many seconds, run across? You don't see a gun. You don't see him. Like, it's crazy. I don't know.
Right. And people act like that 30-06 is like, you can dismantle that into small parts. That's not something you're dismantling into like small, tiny little pieces. You know, you may be able to dismantle, depending on the type, into like 2, maybe 3 smaller parts, but not really. Then you need the pockets to carry them. So he's dismantling this, remantling it, carrying a fully functioning 30-06 in his jeans, walking, and then somehow hopping up on top of a roof. I mean, like I said, you can't fool somebody who has spent her entire life after school watching crazy scenarios with my babysitter on those telenovelas, man. I'd be watching as the page turns. I'd be seeing crazy scenarios. Like, are you serious? That's what kills me. And these are supposed to be into highly intelligent people, and they just drop the ball.
They are, Mia, they are highly intelligent. We got millions of people that think that what they're saying is true. Come on now. You just
why would the Trump administration want him dead? Why would anybody on the right?
Think about it on a broad spectrum. So he's gone, and this is the greatest call to arms they've had and the greatest wave of support. I mean, he was a young man. He was religious. He was a family man. He had young children. I mean, you can't pay. Well, actually you can, but like that kind of publicity only comes when somebody is, when somebody passes away, somebody important, I mean, people held memorials for him on all 6 continents. I don't think they were doing it in Antarctica, so I'm not going to count that one. But like 6 out of the 7 continents, they were holding memorials for this man.
It's not just martyring him. We'll get to the other stuff. I'll give my one take on why I think they did it. But it's not just martyring him. He was getting too close to something. And I'm going to play the next clip. This is where she calls out the photo that Trump posted.
And Trump rushed to tweet out that, or social Truth Social out that photo, that AI photo of him and Charlie with the Star of David in the background, I just knew. I knew the investigation into who murdered Charlie Kirk was officially over, right? The officials wanted nothing to do with it because there was nobody more psychotically insistent that people stop asking questions about Charlie's death immediately. I mean, early hours, right? More than the people that are dedicated to the Israel lobby, right? These individuals, if you go back, people that are pro-Israel for whatever reason, were like, do not look any further into this death. In fact, I'll challenge you, do me a favor. Find me just one real life pro-Israel individual who is expressing that they don't believe that Charlie Kirk was killed by Tyler Robinson. The evidence is overwhelming that Tyler Robinson didn't act alone, that Tyler Robinson didn't fire the shot, that Tyler Robinson didn't use a 30-06. Find me just one person with a platform who's pro-Israel and says, I want this investigation into his death to continue. It's a bit weird, right? It's a bit weird. Dogs, very silent right now. Very, very silent. And there's like a stake on the ground. They're not moving. It's very weird. They do, all of them, however, I will say, want him to be honored, right? Mostly by your money. They want you to give to Turning Point USA. That's the best way, by the way, that you can honor him. Open up your pocketbooks. They don't have enough money there, right? Clearing like $100 million a year. They don't have enough. Open up your pockets, keep his show going, and don't ask questions is obviously the clearest way that we can honor Charlie Kirk. They want him lionized, and they did try to lionize him immediately as the most Judeo-Christian goy ever, right? He was basic. Why not just put him in a yarmulke in some of these AI photos? That would make more sense. The direction, I mean, so instant. It's like just like trying to establish the legacy, right? And keeping with that, we want this to be honorific, not actually trying to solve what happened here. For Charlie's birthday, President Trump signed into.
So, Gray, what do you think? What's your thoughts? Are we being told the truth? Should Candace Owens give it up?
Skip and President Trump, if you're watching this, I have nothing to do with this. I had nothing to say about any of this. Skip.
Well, this is whack. I mean, the whole thing's whack. Charlie Kirk got Donald Trump elected. He ran the ground game for the Republican Party. And usually when a personality-driven movement loses the leader, it fades away. What rational reason would Donald Trump have for wanting Charlie Kirk dead?
To unite the right, to unite the Republicans, so he can ensure that J.D. Vance gets voted in and Charlie Kirk doesn't, because they need to be able to control the shmoney going over there to that other country that he was just talking about. And what's interesting, I'm surprised that anybody on the left wouldn't see it, because he's galvanizing hatred towards you people, the Democrats, the left. And I'm not the Democrat or the left that I'm saying this. So y'all need to have the tinfoil hat on, because they're coming after y'all asses.
But can I just say, though, the argument isn't
very clear that the left, that we should feel sorry for when they go after the left and the Democrats, because retribution is coming. Skeptic, am I wrong?
Well, but I think, let me clarify too, Blake. The argument that she is making, her specifically, and a majority of people are saying, isn't necessarily that Trump did it, but it's that his viewpoint, because he had multiple interviews. One, I forget her name because I don't know the right-leaning people, but he did an interview and he was literally saying, hey, a lot of right-leaning people are coming at me because my support for Israel has kind of shifted a little bit. Like, nothing crazy, but I do think that what's going on in Gaza, like, I have questions, right? And he was receiving funding from it. So actually, the theory is that it was, like, I don't know, the Israeli government or Israeli, I guess, people, right, that came after him because they didn't want him to turn his base. He has a large, young, men that are on the right base. and they want them to be pro-Israel. That's the argument. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm just saying that because Blake seems confused as to why Trump would want to do it, but they're not really saying that Trump was doing it.
Let me be clear. Do I think Trump had a hand in this? No. But Trump is not running things. And if you think Trump is running things, you are a fool. I'm going to just put that out.
Count me a fool then, because I do think
hold on. Let Kimberly go. Kimberly hasn't went yet. Kimberly, you're kind of left. What do you think?
Oh, I was just agreeing with that. Not just that. It's Charlie Kirk had Turning Point had a conference where they allowed anti-Israel sentiment. They had the audacity of having Dave Smith on. Dave Smith is very persuasive on that he's very sympathetic to the plight of the Palestinian people, and he speaks from his Jewish point of view. I would just want to clarify, I wouldn't say it's Israeli people. I wouldn't say it's Jewish people. I just think it's a faction of the I want to be careful with my words here, but there's a security state. There's a security state going around connected to Epstein as well. That's through the CIA, through the Mossad, and they have covert operations all throughout the world. They're completely capable of it. They have all the technological advances to do it. I wouldn't put it past them at all. I'm putting my tinfoil hat on. I think that he was murdered for sure.
I think
he was so young.
I don't know. Call me a skeptic. Why wouldn't they kill Zoran Mondami then?
They tried killing Trump twice.
The Israelis did.
Not the Israelis. Well, I wouldn't ever identify. I wouldn't ever say the Israelis, because there are citizens of Israel who they just live there. So it's the Jewish people, the religion, the ethnicity, the Israelis, which are the people who live in Israel, and then there's also factions of the government and the Mossad, like similar to here. I wouldn't say the Americans, right? But yeah. I mean,
I don't know. This sounds like layer upon layer of conspiracy theory. Sometimes Occam's razor is right. The simplest answer is the right answer. It was a deranged individual who...
History would show us that that's not true. Even recent history, they tried to kill Trump twice. The second guy was even crazier than the first one.
What recent history shows that? Just out of curiosity, what recent history shows
the two assassination attempts on Donald Trump?
And you don't think those were deranged individuals?
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
But you're not going to speculate on what shadowy organization was behind
I think it was the CIA.
You think the CIA tried to kill Donald Trump?
Yeah, that's what the CIA.
Hell yeah. The Biden ran CIA at the time. The Democrat ran left-leaning CIA to ensure, because that horrible job and performance that Joe Biden just did 2 weeks ago. And then
Nora, you're frozen.
out, and we did it.
We got a lot of people here. Enzo and Kamal haven't went yet.
Okay,
nah, it's okay. I'm loving this.
Let me host. I got more clips. So I will play the next one.
His burial. How come we haven't seen anything about his burial? We saw so much and then we saw nothing. And the reason that's like a big hush-hush secret is because Charlie had a Catholic funeral mass and he is buried in a Catholic cemetery. Yeah, but really, it was about the architecture. I want you to understand. Why the little lies? I think we can only speculate that it's because they're worried about the money, right? They do not want to upset the very same people who were pressuring Charlie Kirk. And I love when they say, oh, another thing Andrew said in that interview, they're only a small portion of our donors relative to the rest of our donors. Okay, but are they cutting the bigger checks? Like Bob Showman took $2 million away. That's got to mean something. If you brought in $70 million last year and he took away $2 million just like that, are they cutting the bigger checks? Because that's relevant. And I think the answer to that is yes. I think they insisted and are pressuring them, as we are hearing, to maintain the idea that Charlie died pro-Israel. But to do that, to have the stomach to do that, to know that you knew where he was buried and attended that mass, and you had the stomach to sit down and to gaslight me. That's what you did. You were gaslighting me, actually. It was me, right? You didn't say my name, but you were referring to me, right? Oh, no, he was just the most committed evangelical. What's wrong with everybody? Why does nobody have just I don't know, the spirit moving within them. Just like, I don't know. I would just be sickened with myself. I can't lie like that. I can't lie anywhere close to that. I can't even fib. And you're able to just sit up there like a soldier and just delude everybody, delude the masses, and sometimes do it through tears to be extra convincing. That's crazy to me. It's wild to me. Speaking on a note.
So, Enzo, what is your thoughts on her basically, like, I think putting something out very personal about Charlie Kirk? What do you think?
How do I choose my words for this POS? Dragging Charlie's name through the mud, coming up with baseless conspiracy theories. Trust me, I indulge in conspiracy theories. But here's the thing with conspiracy theories for me. I need at least a plausible reason that some other nefarious person, organization, some slim piece of evidence. There's no evidence in this whatsoever. And for her putting out and her talking about, where's the funeral? Where's the funeral? Maybe the family wanted a private funeral. Maybe after everything that he went through and his family went through over the last couple months, with the people destroying memorials, her getting death threats, the organization itself in disarray, maybe they just wanted something to be private. Why does it matter to Candace? Why does she have to keep opening up her fucking mouth every single day just to get clicks and likes off of it? If she had any type of evidence to prove that anybody else did this, then we know who did this. Of the rhetoric of the left who did this, some deranged person on the left who did this. Show us the proof. You keep saying you have text messages. You show us the text messages with no times and no dates, no name on the picture, or no name on the text messages at all. That could be between you and a random person you just put together for your video that you wanted to put out. I think respectfully, she just needs to shut the hell up at this point. And it's honestly disgusting in my eyes. I said the last time that we spoke about her. If I had a best friend who knew somebody else took me out, I want them to make a video saying, if I go missing, this is the reason why you're seeing this. And this is really what happened. Not let's make 12 videos every single week for clicks and likes just so you can make money and stay relevant when nobody really gives a shit about you anymore. And I'm sorry to say it, this is just playing into her being around Nick and the anti-Semitic rhetoric that's been running around for the last couple months in the United States and the world because of what's going on between Israel and Palestine. That's literally what this is playing into in my eyes. And I'm sorry, I'm just sick and tired of hearing it and seeing this all day long. We need a boogeyman, so we're going to blame Israel for every single little thing that happens in the United States. We're going to blame Trump now and say that he's the one who took out him with the help of Bibi and all them. Honestly, I'm just, like I keep saying, I'm just done with it. I just wish she would just go away and stop talking about all this.
Kamal, I want to play this clip. This is Sabi. This is what she had to say why we should question it, and then let you react.
I haven't seen any video footage of Tyler Robinson with a weapon in his hand, including when he got off the roof.
Yeah, nor have I. And I've seen a lot of video footage, probably 6 or 7 hours of video footage. And the film I've looked at, I know they're lying or they're not. You know, they're obfuscating right now. The FBI has no idea in terms of its leadership, as far as I know, who killed Charlie Kirk. And that's a problem.
But how did they just get this guy? Like, how did they decide?
They invented him. They invented him. And as that suggested, as that technological look at the blip, as that suggested, they not only invented him, they found him some hours before the assassination.
I think it just like it's wild.
It is, and it shows you what the age we're living in right now is both massively capable and beneficial if used properly, but on the other side of that coin, it's massively dangerous if in the hands of someone like Bibi Netanyahu or Donald Trump's people like Steve Miller and Vaught at OMB. You put this stuff in their hands, and they're going to turn it on you. Power. If it's used as it was being demonstrated there, and I would say in other, other places where it'd be even more positive, then it's a boon to everything we do. It's a boon to education. It's a boon to economics, finance. But if it's used the other way, ability to cheat and to kill and to plunder, a lot easier. And then to cover it up.
So Kamal, after hearing that, what's your thoughts? What do you think? Should she give it up?
First of all, shout out to Sabby Sabs. Shout out to Beans and Heaven in the chat. I'll see y'all. Second of all, Candace Owens ain't gonna give it up because she's a rider. You feel me? A rider to white men. You feel me? This what coonettes and dead winches do. Congratulations. But I gotta say this. Damn, Enzo, you said you said she irrelevant because of damn. I almost gave you a mic drop, bro. Goodness gracious. And I'll say, Enzo, Blake, Benny, I got y'all answer. The rest of y'all, do y'all feel that Candace Owens is grifting? Because that's all I heard.
That's what I was gonna say about her.
You should say it. It's okay.
I'm saying because people forget Candace is trying to be relevant. Like she originally, she went to school for journalism. This is what she wanted to do, but it never took off. And when she started out with degree 180, being a liberal, she was talking about Trump. You know what I'm saying? That when that she had started that website for like cyberbullying and tried to get like, if you got bullied, we can basically dox the bully, but it turned out around on her and they end up doxing her. So she disappeared, and when she came back after that, that's when she started doing the conservative cooning shit. You know what I'm saying? I think she made Blexit with the Officer Tatum motherfucker, and then she tapped. That's when she met Charlie in 2017, and they made her like director of urban necessity, something like that, because they were getting caught up at the same time with like racism and shit like that, like being accused of racism and stuff like that. So they hired her as the black person, like, hey, we got somebody. Then she got promoted to the director of communications or something. And then that's when they went to the UK in 2018 and linked up with her, who ended up being her husband. She met him, and then because they met that December in 2018 when Charlie was going over there to start the Turning Point UK. And they linked up over there. She engaged with the husband who was the CEO of some app, that right-wing app or something.
Hardcore.
Because he linked up with her because that was at the same time when they started popping off with Kanye, and he shouted her out. In that April, she started getting clout from Kanye. They go to UK. She meets up with her husband, future husband. He tries to sell the fucking app to Kanye during that Trump shit. It falls through because Kanye started talking about all that Jewish shit because he was losing his, Adidas and all that. Like, the dots are there. I'm not saying that, things do connect, but I don't think Candace is doing this out of the kindness of her heart because she loves Charlie Kirk and they were best pals, because they start falling out around 2019 when she got on with the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro's show.
Daily Wire.
She got on there and she thought she was going to be on the MAGA train, and they didn't pick her. And that's when she comes out with the anti-Semitic shit with Kanye, and then she gets fucking fired. So
Benny, I want to tell you, Nora works with Blexit, and we just interviewed the senior director of Blexit yesterday. We'll have to send you that video. He was the first employee of Candace Owens and Officer Tatum. But what I say about Candace Owens' investigative reporting, it was all good when she was saying that Macron's wife had balls, and that he was with transgender, but her reporting was fascinating then. But now all of a sudden, her reporting is messed up because it's about Charlie Kirk. But that's all I got to say about it.
Do you feel she a grifter though?
Yeah, for sure.
But maybe she got to make money, but she married to a dude with bread. So I mean, like, I don't know.
I mean, she could still be a grifter.
Hey, I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You can say we all grifters. So, but I don't know.
Well, speaking of grifters, we're going to talk about Charlie Kirk, what he had to say about Nick Fuentes, because we're going to go into the next story. And Charlie Kirk said he would never work with Nick. And I'm going to tell you, Nick is definitely grifting off of his death.
Everybody dissenting from the right. When are we going to have more nationalists? Instead of just engaging with the left, now that the Biden administration has invaded our country, when are we going to build a big tent with nationalists like Jared Taylor and Nick Fuentes?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I don't align with Jew haters. Sorry. Thank you. I'll talk to anybody. You want to tell me why do you hate the Jews, by the way? Like, what do you think of Jewish people?
No, I think they have a disproportionate influence in American politics. However, I do find it interesting that you trot out these far left.
I'll talk to anybody, but one of the people you mentioned says we should have a holy war against the Jews. Do you believe that?
I believe we need to spread the light
yes
of Christ
or no?
to the entire
Do you
world.
believe in a holy war against the Jews? Yes or no?
I believe in fighting for Christ. And I believe that Jerusalem should be Christian.
Christ was a Jew.
Christ is king.
I agree Christ is king, but yes or no? This is not a trick question.
Do you
believe
think,
in a holy war against the Jews? Yes or no? Not a trick question.
Do you think we should try to convert
Wait,
Christianity?
why?
Yes, I try to convert everyone to Christianity. I try to convert Dennis to Christianity. I try to do it every day. It's the Great Commission.
You know
But here's what I'm not going to put up with. I'm not going to put up with Jew hatred. In the conservative movement, in America, I'm not going to put up with that in any way, shape, or form. I'm not going to put up with it. And I'm not going to put up with it. It's disgusting. It's reprehensible.
Now that everyone agrees with me, I will graciously forgive them. All right, you win.
So, Blake, with everything that I'm sure you've been seeing online, because I can tell you keep up with politics, do you see what I'm saying about unifying with the right now? Do you think Nick Fuentes would have ever been able to go sit with Tucker Carlson had C. Kirk not been unalived?
Well, I think Trump in general has changed our norms to allow things like that to happen. It was just a year ago the Republicans were having a meltdown because people were accusing them of being Nazis. It was a month ago that the private chats came out, and son of a gun, they call themselves Nazis. So I don't think that Charlie Kirk being unalived is why Nick Fuentes is in the fold. I think the Trump administration has been making an effort to cast a wide net and get as many conspiracy theories as possible into its big tent to support his re-election campaigns. I don't think that was just because of Charlie Kirk. I think that's more because of Donald Trump.
Well, just right before C. Kirk got alive, Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson were in a beef. And here's the clip of them talking about who's a Fed.
Fed. I was, and I thought you were a Fed.
I was a Fed.
Yeah.
I'm not a Fed. But whatever, I don't care what people think.
We showed each other a badge as we know well.
No, but I thought you were a Fed because I was like, why not? It's not cucking to say you're not talking about all Jews when you oppose a foreign policy position. It's not. There's nothing liberal about that. It's just true. That's the Christian position. Okay. And two, why are you attacking like the best people and not the worst people?
Well, yeah. I mean, again, he disavowed me for my views on Israel and said I talk too much about white people and Christianity. And to me, that's like a sincere ideological disagreement.
I get it.
And, same thing with Marjorie. Marjorie fired my guy. She disavowed me. And, and you worked with Blumenthal on that article, but you called me on the phone and we talked.
Yeah. I
and
mean,
we
I was
settled it.
like, what? From my perspective, this is all so stupid and inside baseball and whatever. But for the record, I was like, first of all, who is this kid? I'm working at Fox News. I'm aware there's an internet, but I'm more out of it than you may appreciate. And I'm like, out of nowhere, attacking this one. I had Joe Kent here to my house and did this interview with him. And I'm always in search of a sincere politician. Don't have to agree on everything, but I really believe sincerity is the whole game. If someone's heart is pure, he will be brave. I always have thought that. And it's turned out to be true. Marjorie's the perfect example. And that's all that matters. If you're afraid inside, if you're weak inside, you will crumble when it matters. So I really felt like, wow, Joe, don't agree with him on everything, of course, but I was like, this guy is really sincere. He's like a good person. And then you show up and you're like, he's a CIA officer and he was a CIA contractor, but like really like crush the guy. And it's like, why of all people, you agree on 90% of stuff, you know? That was my view. And I was like, well, clearly this kid's a Fed.
Right. But you didn't know the whole story.
I didn't. Oh, you're absolutely right.
And look, and now that, and I want to be, I'm not trying to be combative. I think that.
Go ahead. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
No, I mean, here's what I'm trying to say is now that Marjorie is pushing in the right direction, I absolutely support everything she's saying. And I've not been critical of her at all this year.
Yeah.
Because I think that what she's doing is extremely courageous. And I think you're right. She is sincere.
So it sounds like you're, not to put words in your mouth, but your life experience has left you so stung.
So Mia, who's the Fed?
They all are. Is that the question? They all are. Everybody's in on the take. People need to stop looking at it in terms of left versus right. It doesn't matter. It's the elites versus us. It's always going to be the elites versus us. Left versus right, Democrat versus Republican. It is legitimately all an illusion. And they've been doing it for centuries in this country. Because back in the day, they didn't even want to have the American Revolutionary War. The rich people had to convince the poor people to fight for them because they didn't want to do that because they're like, why? I have land, I have farming, I'm good. So, I mean, they're all Feds. And it's super weird that they just won't admit to being Feds. It's like, we know, come on. Like Tucker Carlson literally grew up in DC and he wears that as a badge of honor. His father was also a Fed. I mean, I'm pretty sure he had some uncles and cousins that are Feds. I mean, birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah, I agree. And this next clip, I'm going to have Enzo respond to. This is him. This is Charlie. This is Nick Fuentes talking about Charlie Kirk.
Whether Charlie Kirk saw it this way or not, we will finish what he could not, what he cannot, because he was murdered. Whether he likes it or not, whether he liked it when he was alive or not, we have to take it from here. The far right actually has to take it from here. The moderate right that would do anything in their power to prevent the real right, the real America First from rising up. You see where that has gotten us. You see where that got him. And I don't say that to be cute. I say that because that's the reality. The moderate conservatism got him killed. The moderate conservatism got us BLM raging through the streets while Trump was the president. It's giving us this dynamic. We need to fight to win. We can't fight not to lose against the left. We need to fight to win. We need to crush the establishment. And then once we take over the Republican opposition, we need to crush the left. And anything short of that, this country is over. What this country needs is to close the borders. It needs re-migration. These people gotta go. 10 million in 4 years? They're here forever? I don't think so. They have to be removed. And the left-wing scum that are standing in the way of law enforcement, they need to be imprisoned for a long time. The insurrection needs to be put down. Order needs to be restored. And these billionaire oligarchs, the money power, which is inciting this civil conflict in the media with politics, the special interests preventing the government from doing what is necessary, they need to understand that the country comes first. The national power must supersede the money power. The national power that comes from the people and their benefit and the public interest has to take priority over the special interest that is financed by Wall Street, by Silicon Valley, by venture capital, private equity. The national power must take precedence over the money power. Anything short of that.
So Enzo, I go back to my first question that I asked. Would Nick Fuentes have been interviewed by Tucker Carlson had Charlie Kirk not been unalived?
Not at all. Not at all. We got the greatest hits of The two people in the world that were not relevant before, but now want to be relevant, trying to talk about Charlie Kirk. That's all we got tonight. Two has-beens that missed their prime. You got one that's grifting off Charlie Kirk's death, and then you got the other who's a literal Nazi saying they gonna pick up what Charlie Kirk was doing. No, you're not. No, you're not. Don't even try it, bro. Trust me, the Republican Party ain't rallying behind you. If you want to take your incels and your little people that are scum of the earth, and you guys want to do an uprising and say this is the Republican Party, this is the Republican Party, no, you're gonna be shut down immediately. We do not condone you. We want nothing to do with you. There's no Nazis in the United States. You know what? I'll be Antifa at that point. Just take down fucking Nick Fuentes and his little group of retards as they are. Sorry for my language, but that's another person. I don't hate anybody, but he is the one person I literally despise and hate with a burning fucking passion.
I think.
Hey, that's two things we agree on. Look at us, Enzo. Not us agreeing on a second thing. It's crazy. It really is.
What is going on today?
The pigs are flying, y'all.
Hey Enzo, I got a quick question real quick. How old are you real quick, if you don't mind me asking?
28.
28. Okay. Nah, I say that because I think people really did. I don't think people acknowledge like the demographic of who people like Nick Fuentes or even Trump and JD Vance and Pete Hegseth are speaking to. People discredit or kind of throw under the blanket the young white male that the young white loser male who gravitates towards people like Nick Fuentes, people like that crowd. When Trump's made why do you think Pete Hegseth is this administration just feels so childish? It's because they're trying to appeal to the youth, the Gen Alpha, the meme generation. You know what I'm saying? That's why Trump tweets out like they troll. They seem so unprofessional. They're far from because they use Charlie. He had he had a lot of influence over college campuses and things like that. Nick Fuentes speaks to that demographic. They were the ones that pushed heavily during his election cycle on social media, on places like Twitter and stuff like that, that allowed him to get out what misinformation and kind of like the political scenery that we have now is due to that demographic of young white males. So I think people need to start taking them and people like Nick Fuentes' rhetoric more serious, because they're not talking to people like you. They're talking to that generation coming after us. And
exactly.
I think that's a little, because like you have boomers about to be in the dirt in the next 15, 20 years. Millennials, we're just kind of like in the fucking middle. They're trying to get that younger demographic and kind of pour into them, in my opinion, what they did to like my age group to get us to go fight the fucking war on terror. For this next cycle of whatever the resource fighting they're about to do, they have to prep those young white boys specifically to go. You have Pete Hegseth in front of military fucking generals talking about FAFO. Like, what do we do? But he wasn't talking to them. He was talking to those young white boys that they're trying to rally.
Or young white boys that are 60 years old, right? But you're dead on, right? He's talking to a specific demographic and a specific style. It wasn't for the generals. It was for that group you talked about.
I just want to add, I know Enzo disavowed him as a conservative. I read somewhere that his last name is Fuentes because his dad's Mexican. As a Mexican, I speak for all Mexicans. I disavow him as a Mexican. We disown him completely. He's not associated.
He's Mexican, Italian, and Irish.
He's Peruvian.
He's not Italian. Right? We don't claim him.
No, he's Mexican.
Neither do we.
I got to say, I feel like I need to take a shower after listening to him.
Well, it'll get even worse. This is what he had to say about porn, and he's talking down to young men, and he's an incel. He's not married, no girlfriend. Let's watch.
Something that is almost never talked about is that this is a generation that's totally sexually dysfunctional, I think, because of pornography. And some people are able to cope with it. Some people don't have a problem. But I think a lot of people, and maybe even a small minority, have a serious problem with it. And the
How does
problem,
it make people sexually dysfunctional?
I think that it's impossible for a real woman to compete with the availability and the novelty of pornography. A real woman, like without getting graphic, she's only one person, and maybe she wants to do something sexual, maybe she doesn't. Porn is, you could have 100 different women in one sitting doing anything that whatever niche or idiosyncratic thing a person might be into, it's there. And so I think that novelty combined with that availability, it makes it so that, when you think about courting a woman, juice isn't worth the squeeze. And so there's like also a problem of like erectile dysfunction, people that can't enjoy regular sex because it does not compare to the intensity, the novelty, and the availability of porn. It's hyper stimulation. And so I think that's sabotaging a lot of normal sexual relationships.
It seems like it's making a lot of people gay too.
Yeah, and trans.
You think that's true?
100%.
What is that?
I think that the novelty is a huge part of that. I think that if you are somebody that uses pornography multiple times per day, which many people do.
Actually?
Oh, absolutely.
That's a lot of jerking off.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah.
And, if you're doing that multiple times a day, every day, for years, since you're a kid, well, eventually you get bored.
Yeah.
And you want to move on to something more extreme. And you're kind of, it operates, I think, similar to like a drug. You kind of have the same kind of resistance to it that you would to a drug, or a tolerance for it. And you're always chasing that initial feeling the first time you used it or the first time you saw a certain thing. And I think eventually you just chase more taboo, more transgressive. And I think maybe some people are more prone to that than other people, going in a really extreme direction.
Is how Charlie Sheen got AIDS, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Through just being jaded and looking for something more transgressive. That's just a fact.
And there's something too about what it does when you look at it. Because people don't realize that it is a fundamentally different experience being involved in intercourse versus watching other people have intercourse. And I think that actually does something to you.
Tell me, what do you mean?
I think that, for example, I think Steve Saylor has written about this, that there's multiple kinds of transsexuals. And he says that one kind of transsexual is somebody that likes the idea of seeing themselves as a woman. It's autogynephilia.
Yes.
And I think that, one of the theories for that is you watch a man having sex with a woman that isn't you so much, you kind of achieve an identity with the woman in like a weird, sick way. You almost identify with the woman. And so there's weird things that happen when you're watching that and having such strong emotional and sexual experiences with it.
Okay, Grace. So what's your thoughts on what he said? Do you agree with him? Do you think that we have a porn problem in this country? He's also represents the young incels that don't want girlfriends, can't get girlfriends. What do you think?
They have advocacy groups for that if you're struggling with sex addiction. I'm not going to say that that's a major problem for, everyone, but I think that some people need it. People are in monogamous relationships. So I think that helps people stay faithful in their relationships. And, kids going through puberty, having to discover themselves. So, you can't destroy one thing because it's just affecting a small few people.
Interesting. Well, this next clip, I'm going to get Skeptic to come in on. This was JD Vance last night talking about how close he was with Charlie Kirk.
Where Charlie Kirk called me, and guys, he was mad. It was one, I wouldn't say the last conversation that I had with him, but it was in the last few months of his life. And he called me and he said, JD, I'm really worried. I'm really worried that what's going on in the Middle East right now is going to lead the United States into a protracted military conflict. I've never told anybody that Charlie was really worried about that in the final months of his life. Now, here's the thing. Charlie was so effective and he was so trusted by both me and the President of the United States that when Charlie made that phone call, I didn't say, screw you, you don't know what you're talking about. I listened to him. And I really believe that one of the reasons why the President of the United States knocked out the Iranian nuclear facilities, but never got the United States into a protracted military conflict and never lost a single American in a Middle Eastern conflict is because we had the wisdom and the good sense to recognize that the American people are done with American troops dying in unnecessary foreign conflicts. But Charlie Kirk reminded me of that. Charlie Kirk.
Skeptic, what do you think about how close J.D. Vance was with Charlie Kirk? What's your thoughts?
Well, he did go on his podcast after his unaliving. So I do think that there was a close relationship with that. I will say this. This is funny. I think that when people, like when someone talks a lot about a subject, a lot of the time that tends to be like kind of what they're interested in. And I have noticed that the Republicans as a whole tend to focus intently on like trans people and the LGBTQ movement. And when you look at like studies, I had a friend who had like a doctorate in like social psychology. She had actually said that there were newer studies showing that, you know, porn basically helped with people not committing sexual assaults, which is like interesting. I've never really looked into it. Just kind of right now with the conversation, it reminded me of that. But I will say the Grindr app broke in Milwaukee when the RNC was happening there. So I think that some people that are obsessed with this topic are having like an internal battle within themselves because they are just like honed in on this. Like I've never heard this being spoken of so much until like recently. Like an obsession of like speaking on people and like their orientation and what they identify as. Like I care, but at the end of the day, like it's like a subject that's like kind of doesn't really, I don't talk about a lot. I'm not like obsessed with it. It just seems like there's an obsession with it.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Skeptic. I definitely that study is real, Skeptic. I've heard of that study, so I know the one you're talking about. So this next clip is regarding basically Tucker Carlson, what he had to say about Christian Zionism.
Explain Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz, and there are a lot like that. John Bolton. I mean, I've known them all. George W. Bush, like Karl Rove. I mean, all people I know personally who I've seen like be seized by this brain virus, and they're not Jewish. Most of them are self-described Christians, and then the Christian Zionists who are, well, Christian Zionists. Like, what is that? Right. And I could just say for myself, I dislike them more than anybody, you know, because like what? Because it's Christian heresy, and I'm offended by that as a Christian. That's why. So I don't like. Why not? Like, I'm pissed at the neocons. Very pissed. I've said that a million times. I've been mad since December of 2003 when I went to Iraq. And so like I went and asked straightforward questions to Ted Cruz because that seemed like he was a sitting senator who's like serving for Israel by his own description. He seemed like a worthy target. I'm not going after MTG, who's like the most sincere like why not go after Ted Cruz? I don't understand.
So Kimberly, what's your thoughts regarding everything that you've seen with Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes? In particular, do you think that Nick would have been on the show had Charlie Kirk not been on a lot?
That's a loaded question. It's a very loaded question. Forgive me. I grew up in a Zionist Christian church. I think it has less to do with religion than it does with geopolitics. Tucker Carlson is right on some foreign policy issues. He's evolved a lot. Would he have had Nick Fuentes on? I'm not sure, but I do think that there is a normalization of Nick Fuentes. Dave Smith had him on his podcast too. I couldn't get through more than like 20 minutes of it. I don't like his voice. And the way he talks about sex too is like, you can tell he's probably not very sexually active. Like who the fuck says intercourse? That is so weird. And then there's also another clip of that same interview where Nick Fuentes is telling Tucker Carlson that he he has frustrations with women because he quoted some, I guess, female who says that the woman should worship her man. And Tucker Carlson corrected him. He's like, you don't want a woman to worship you. This guy's such a fucking loser. But yeah, I am very saddened by the Christian Zionist movement. I think that as a Christian, it's antithetical to the true message of Christ, which was a complete pacifist and socialist. But yeah, I would never have watched this much of the Tucker and Nick if you hadn't played those clips for me, because
Me too. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, he's such a weirdo. There's just so much to unpack with the whole Christian Zionist topic. Like, we should do a whole show on just that. It's just so it's very sad.
Yeah, we've touched on it a lot. I am a Christian. We've touched on it a lot. We'll do some more now that you're here, Kim, because Skeptic is a Christian too, and she knows. So now I feel like I'll have.
I also want to clarify. Yeah, I also agree that sometimes the way that certain people like Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson, the way that, not so much Tucker, he's more careful with his words, but Nick Fuentes in particular is a fucking Nazi. He is hateful. He is a stupid person. He does say a lot of dumb shit. And we need to be careful with how we talk about not just the religion of Judaism, but also the Jewish people and the Israeli people. We should never talk like that about other people. And this Nick Fuentes he's just a fucking weirdo. And I'm sure he doesn't get a lot of pussy. I'm pretty sure he doesn't, the way he talks about it. So
yeah, we let me be clear. The new party, we draw the line. It's not all Jewish people. It's not all Israeli people. It's the Zionist government that is in control of that state that has caused where we're at right now in the world. And this person says it best in their super chat. It's more than just the NJF on Tucker. The silencing of Charlie Kirk realigned the entire conservative media, but somehow the left is in denial. W. Michael, that was the point I was trying to get across. Blake, what's your response to that?
I don't know. I think Charlie Kirk's unaliving is just going to be a blip. It was 3 news cycles and then it was gone. Yes, they'll do memorials to him and look back on it, but everything moves so fast. The news moves so fast. I just have a hard time thinking there was any conspiracy behind it. I have a hard time thinking he was anything more than a symptom of a larger geopolitical movement. I don't know. I think Trump was going to the racist right all on his own. I don't think that had anything to do with Charlie Kirk. Nick Fuentes visited the White House the last time, didn't he?
Yeah, but you don't know anything about Nick Fuentes. I'm gonna be real with you. Nick Fuentes was cheering on how he's gonna make Trump lose. He's no longer a Trump supporter. He actually is celebrating every Trump loss that Trump has because he didn't want people to vote for Trump. Because what happened in Palestine and Israel was part of his prediction that Trump is a Zionist to the T, and he's going to sell out America for that $200 million that Mary Adelson gave to him. Now, let me be clear. I think he is a Nazi. I'm agreeing with you on that. But he is very knowledgeable when it comes to geopolitics. And he's been very clear he does not support Trump.
But he's not, right? He's taken bits and pieces of things to weave these incredible conspiracy theories, but he is not a fact-based person. And when he says these things, they might have a nugget of truth here and there. It's generally made up stuff or conspiracy theories. I mean, Nick Fuentes doesn't...
Well, Blake, he's on your side. He believes that it's a lone gunman that unalived Charlie Kirk. So he's not that big of a conspiracy theorist. He's believing what the Trump admin and is telling us.
He seemed to be suggesting he thought that it was Israel that had killed him. Did I miss that?
He well, depending on where he goes, he's saying that at this point.
All right, and so again, back to the credibility. He just says whatever he thinks is going to get views. He has no coherent worldview. He's just a guy who makes things up on the fly, trying to get attention, and he's clearly good at it. But yeah, I'm with you. I have never listened to this much Nick Fuentes in my life, and I'm 61 years old. And hopefully the next session will not be on this, because I'm about done listening to this guy. He is a goofball and he is a racist. I'm of a generation that learned that people that were racist were either weak-minded or weak-charactered, and he is probably both. And I hate to say that something negative about another human being. He is not somebody I would choose to listen to in any situation about any topic.
Were you a Charlie Kirk fan?
No, my gosh. I thought he was a goofball too.
All right, guys, the next super chat. Thank you, Michael. The girl in the bottom screen is the only one that did their homework. But yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Mia did her homework too. The thing is this, Nick Fuentes Blake, is whether people don't want to acknowledge it or not. Mia, am I wrong? Many of these young boys are looking to him. They moved from Charlie Kirk. They moved now to Nick. Am I wrong, Mia? Because you got a young son.
No. So, yeah, I do. I have a teenage son. So what was the first thing that I said to you and Enzo? As Charlie Kirk we just watched Charlie Kirk take one to the throat. We're all talking together. And the first two things I say is, one, this appears to be an inside job. The second one, this is going to create a power vacuum. And you can quote me on this because I said it here a few weeks ago or a month ago, right after it happened. I said this is going to create a power vacuum within the conservative movement. And we're going to see the rise of Nick Fuentes because we're going to have a lot of angry young men. And what have we seen now? Angry young men and the rise of Nick Fuentes through that power vacuum, because now Charlie's gone. And I kept saying, I'm like, Charlie was Charlie was a moderate. He was willing to come to the table, willing to speak with you, and willing to be decently respected. He was definitely a moderate compared to what is out there. Have you seen Milo?
Oh, okay.
Compared to the people out there, Charlie Kirk was absolutely a Christian moderate. And at least he was willing to be decently respectful to you when you stepped up to the podium to speak with him. Now we're going to have a new crop of young men that are incels. And Nick Fuentes is the racist Nazi leader of the incels, which are involuntarily celibate men. Because, as Kimberly said, they can't get pussy. So
it's
for her.
A historical analogy. One of the reasons that people speculated that Japan was so warlike was they had all of these... what were their fighters? They had a lot more men than women, and they used foreign interventions as a way of kind of reducing their oversupply of men.
Yeah. Well, at least this is what Charlie Kirk stood on. Then we could do closing.
Stop talking. Really bad stuff starts. When marriages stop talking, divorce happens. When civilizations stop talking, civil war ensues. When you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to want to commit violence against that group. What we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have reasonable disagreement where violence is not an option. When people stop.
So he kept the conversation going. And with that being said, I want to thank our guests for coming. Benny, what's your closing thoughts?
I appreciate y'all letting me come on here. And I mean, Candace and Tucker Carlson are definitely both grifters because they both got kicked off of their platforms.
Hold on, Benny. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the right goddamn sound effect for you. Yep, goddamn right. There you go.
Because they were both riding that MAGA wave when that money was coming in, but when he got in trouble at Fox and she got kicked off the gravy train, that's where we are now.
Benny, where can they find you? I know you have 2 pages.
Benny Ray 3, or the one that is tagged on under my name. I've been arrogant. Those would be my 2 TikToks, but I'm mostly on this one right here.
Well, thank you for coming, Benny. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Blake,
I appreciate y'all.
Where can they find you, and what's your closing thoughts?
At Blake Ashby on TikTok is my only TikTok account, and then the website. Appreciate the chance to engage in the conversation. It's to Charlie Kirk's credit, he did try and talk to a lot of people, and it's always fun. It's always enjoyable to actually have a conversation with people that you don't necessarily agree with, as long as it's civil and as long as views are exchanged. So thanks for the chance to be part of this.
Yeah, thanks, Blake. Usually we don't have so many people. We definitely got to bring you back. Probably on the man cave night where it's
So
less people.
I got a question. So y'all want my thoughts on the interview? Because I got left out like a redheaded stepchild.
Oh my God, I'm sorry, Kamal. Go ahead, go next.
I watched the whole interview too. All that hunky explaining they were doing. It's okay. We can do everybody else closing thoughts. You feel me? Because I wrote down questions too at the list. And Blake and Kimberly, y'all missing out listening to this interview. This shit was a shit show. This was hilarious. I thought it was funny as hell what they were saying. God damn. Like, bruh, I'm gonna be honest. I think Nick Fuentes wants to get pounded in the ass. Because he said that, oh, you start imagining yourself as the woman when you watch the porn.
Yeah, I heard that.
Excuse me, sir?
Well, you don't know the rumor. Hey, Kamal, you don't know the rumor of him and Destiny?
The furries.
Hell no.
Well,
that's
let
what
me
I'm
tell
talking
you,
about.
and I'll let you stay on your closing thoughts so the people can know. Allegedly, there's a video of Destiny with some man, and there's a hand in the video, and allegedly it's Nick Fuentes, and they were in a hot tub together. And Destiny openly admits that he's bisexual, so it's not like a lie.
Damn. So Destiny was smacking the Mexican cheeks for sure. Damn, y'all go check out the new party. I got it pinned to the top of my chat. Y'all go check out the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when they go live. Also, shout out to the chat. Eric, thank you for the compliment with the glasses. Beans was in the chat, Heaven was in the chat. I think Doc was in the chat too. RG, I see you, bruh. A couple dweebs was in the chat too. Red Kid, stop sticking carrots up your dog ass and shut the hell up. Haiti Pablo, the only view that I like is a view of your mama titties, man. Anyway, back to this funny ass interview that I did have questions about. So one of the I wrote questions down. Let me put my glasses on. Shit, man, because it's dark in here now. First of all, and I looked at this interview through a comical lens because I already know how they feel about Black Americans. So we don't even need to go down that line. But I looked at this shit through a comical lens. And first of all, I was like, does porn make you gay? Apparently to Nick Fuentes, it does. Is Nick Fuentes the Tupac of Republicans? The reason why I asked that is because this motherfucker, Nick Fuentes, was scorned. He was like, hold on, y'all don't want me? Oh, shoot them all up then. I'm telling y'all should have listened to the interview. He was out there like, I don't fuck with this person, and now I'm right. Look at blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's another question I had. I said, is this just the feds working together? I mean, Mia already said they both are the feds. I agree with Mia. When Nick Fuentes and Kevin Samuels been friends, Nick Fuentes start complaining about women not cooking. Kevin Samuels did that too. I guess Nick Fuentes is, eating the red pill. But RIP to Kevin Samuels, you feel me? He did care about the Black community. It was just sometimes in a certain way that some people found it abrasive. And my last question is, was Nick Fuentes a victim of white on white crime? When he got somebody came to his house with a gun, a loaded gun, by the way, you feel me, to bloop his ass. The assailant was a white man. So, was he a victim of white on white crime? I need these answers. I would love to talk to Nick Fuentes and Tucker, the fish face Carlson. I have a lot more questions, but we'll just start out with those. If y'all want to find me, Kamal Johnson Network on YouTube, hit the notification bell on both channels so you know when we go live, you feel me? Thank you to our guests, you feel me? Benny, appreciate you, bruh. Blake, I appreciate you too. Don't let that boomer comment get you sad, bruh. I saw the sadness in your eyes when Benny was like, the boomers are almost in the dirt. It's okay. You 61 years old young, brother. All right. Also, everybody else has YouTube channels and TikTok channels. Y'all go follow them and stuff. And Enzo is right. We just heard the greatest hit from the grifters. We're going to call them the Griftonies. I'm done, man. Shit, y'all could, yeah.
Wow. I'm so sorry I skipped you. My bad. Ladies,
okay.
Next. I got thrown off. It's a lot moving parts tonight. Kimberly, what's your closing thoughts?
Man, I was cracking up so hard right now. I don't even remember what I was gonna say. I love that you featured Sabby Sabs. Sabrina Salvati and I are up to par on the third party wave. Vote third party. Please leave the Democratic Party. They're clowns. And then what else was I gonna say? Damn, that Kamal is hilarious. He is hilarious.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you said that you think Nook Fuentes wants to get pounded in the ass. I just want to say there's absolutely nothing wrong with getting pounded in the ass. There's nothing wrong with being gay or trans. I think his problem is he wants to get beat the fuck up. Like, he should get his ass beat. That motherfucker needs to get his ass beat. That's... A él le hace falta una buena cachetada, la verdad. He probably didn't get reprimanded when he was a little kid, and you could see that the way he talks. Oh, he's so gross. I'm gonna go like some
Take a shower.
Take a shower.
Oh,
Exactly.
I never watch him long form. I can't. He's so disgusting. And I also agree that Charlie Kirk did at least try to engage in the discourse, even though I agreed with him on almost a lot of everything. That was it. I tried to find Blake on Instagram. I couldn't find him. I wish I was more active on TikTok, but I did follow you both on TikTok. It was nice meeting you all. And everybody have a good evening. Peace and love.
Thank you, Kimberly. That was very nice. Skeptic, did you hear what Kimberly said? I need translation now that we got somebody else speaking Spanish. Did you hear it?
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Oh man. All right.
He needs to get his face, like his mama didn't smack him enough. He needs to get his ass beat.
Enzo, what's your closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts are: this is a great episode of the greatest hits of the grifters. Like I said before, the grift homies. As Candace and Nick, all I really say is they just need to go somewhere and never show their face again. Just stop. I'm so sick and tired of hearing their voices. They literally know the crap out. That being said, I hope everybody has a great night and happy Halloween tomorrow. Everybody stay safe, get a lot of candy, and have a good night.
Yeah, get that candy. That might be all some people got in their house to eat. Skeptic, I'm being funny, but being serious. November 1st. What's your thoughts?
I think it was a good episode. I can't believe that y'all got me and Enzo agreeing on one thing. This was the grifter episode. We were talking about a bunch of grifters. And I think, like, for Candace, if you're willing to spread misinformation about your own community, like, I don't trust you. I don't know what it is that you stand for nothing and you'll fall for anything. And the fact that, I mean, I was kind of on the boat of whatever, the stuff she was saying, the questions she was asking. I think that the way that she has kind of stuck on bringing this up as a topic has become kind of like inauthentic. Like, you're now using this and you're now trying to build on this every episode. You're trying to make a whole series out of it. It's kind of weird. So I see the grifter from like a mile away. I think Nick Fuentes is disgusting. I don't know. I know nothing of him. I think the first time I heard of him was on here. And then I went on this whole thing. I saw one of the police recordings, the body cams of someone who came to his house. And he seemed so sad. And after that, I saw his interview with Candace Owens when he was talking about he can't have regular relationships because, like, women won't talk to him. Like, people don't like him because of what he stands on. And I actually felt like I get where the anger comes from. I get where he has all of this, like, frustration that's pinned up that he wants to put on the left. And he, like, makes he's, like, really hateful, like, really has hate in his heart. And it has nothing to do with us that you can't get women. Like, that's not our fault that you can't get a date. Happy Halloween to everyone. Check us out on TikTok. We're currently, there's 2 big lives that we are currently on. Casso's live and then Sajada's live, she's currently live on TikTok right now. We host live panels and they get really, really interesting on topics that we talk about all the time. Politics, current politics, political issues. So check us out on there. And the chat needs to hit the like more. You guys comment and have all these comments about crazy stuff, but you don't hit the heart. So chat, you need to do better on that. If you can comment, you can hit that little heart button in the chat. So anyways, you guys have a good night. Happy Halloween.
Man, Andy,
Right, Skeptic, tell him.
Yeah, tell him, Skeptic. Andy, shut the hell up. Only thing low class is the men that your mom give the puss to. I'm tired of these niggas in the chat today. God damn. Some of y'all cool though. I already shouted y'all, but some of y'all been talking out y'all ass. I'm tired of y'all. Goodness gracious.
Mia, what's your closing thought?
Indeed, this was another great episode. Thank you to our guests for coming and being on here with us. And we have shared many laughs. Thank you so much. I already follow you, Benny, and Blake, I will go on and follow you on TikTok tonight. It was very nice meeting both of you. And I think, and I've said this multiple times, at the end of the day, it is always us versus them. It is always the 99.999%, which is everybody on this panel, our friends and family, and the regular, smegular Americans versus the elites. And don't get stuck on left, right, moderate, this, that. At the end of the day, it's always us versus them. And we need to come together to be the us, because that's the only way we're going to win against them. And before I log off, I just want to say happy early Samhain to everybody. And don't forget, tomorrow the veil is thin. Be careful what you wish for. Light your candles. Put out your apples and your candy for the gods.
Yeah, so I'll make it brief. Thank you guys for coming. Shout out to Blake and Benny. Please go support them and support their lives and their shows and their content. Great stuff. This was a great panel. And I'll say this. I'm going to meet Blake in the middle. I do think Candace is grifting. I'm going to tell you why. I feel like what Candace does is she puts nuggets of things out and then she never connects the dots. And then when she finally connects them, it makes absolutely zero sense. And that's why, like, it's like throwing things out and seeing what sticks on the wall. Like her latest thing today really was like wild. So I say go check out her stuff. But thank you to everyone for supporting. Shout out to Michael for sending the super chats. God bless. Good night.
Whoa. You serious?
Oh, wait.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Are you serious, bro?
Sorry.
Guess it saved the best for last. First off, shout out to me. And I forgot my final thoughts since I was about to be skipped. Thank you, Benny and Blake, for coming. Benny, yeah, I saw your content from Fangirl, Mia, and Slim. So that to the cast, if you see people you want to have on the show, send them to the chat. I know people been asking for different people to come. Just ask for the people. We do this every Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And keep rocking with us. Like we always say on a new party, always vote.